Hello everyone. So today I am going to be talking to you guys about another one of my passions, which this time is alien species. Now a lot of you are probably familiar with such species like the Huts, the Twi'lek, the Sangili, and so on, but today I want to talk to you guys about a species which is not really tied to any franchise or game, but rather a fan creation. Now this species has its own wiki page. I recommend you go check it out if you want to learn more about it, more than I can really cover on this video. Also check out the Stellaris, Starbound and Rimworld mods for this species, as they are quite fun to play with, if I'm honest, as that's how I learned about it. Planet and biology. Originating from planet Avalon, the Avali are dromaeosauridae species, closely tied with raptors. They are a species which evolved in a planet radically different from ours, and as such they aren't able to live in the Goldilocks region of a solar orbit around the Sun. The planet known as Avalon is located in a colder area of the orbit, being a cold forest and mountainous planet. The denser atmosphere of this planet is primarily composed of methane, hydrogen gases, and nitrogen, and it's more extensive than our atmosphere. The oceans of this planet are primarily composed of ammonia. All of these features cause the Avali to primarily consume ammonia instead of water, despite being carbon-based like us. They evolved multiple types of feathers to adapt in these harsh conditions, including their upper half, which is composed primarily of thin and sleek feathers, covered in bodily oils to protect from snowfall, while their lower body is covered in light, insulated layers of feathers along with pulpy plumes, which break off all and powder the other wings, keeping the rest of their body in a pristine condition. Their longer crest and arm feathers have a blood supply at their roots. If they are uprooted, it can cause blood loss depending on how many are uprooted. However, uprooting a single one or two of them is not really deadly and won't cause enough blood loss to kill an Avali. The crest feathers react to heat and can permanently bend if enough heat is applied. This is the equivalent of hairstyling for the Avali and is not dangerous to the body. Their legs are digitigrades, allowing them to travel along the mountains, the trees and the snow covering their planet. Roughly standing between 1 meter and 1.2 meters, the Avali are not easily distinguishable, as visually they lack features that mammals do, such as breasts or notable size differences. However, the males tend to have a bright and shiny colors compared to the females, which have darker and muted colors. While the Avali have large eyes that allow them to see on darker conditions, this sense is not the strongest, as they possess 4 pairs of independently movable ears. This allows them to be able to pick noises outside of their line of sight. While normally their temperature range makes them comfortable with living at a minimal temperature of -70 degrees Celsius, they are capable of living up to a maximum temperature of -30 degrees Celsius. However, this is in a standard atmosphere such as ours. Under dense atmosphere with a greater atmospheric pressure, their boiling point of their ammonia-based blood is increased to a comfortable maximum of -27 degrees Celsius. In their own planet, they have the uncanny ability to fly, being able to traverse the mountainous areas of their planet with ease. However, in a similar planet to ours, they are only able to glide safely down to the ground. The Avali are a very fragile species, as their biology favors a mobility-based approach to problems rather than a direct attack approach. Being similar to dromaeosauridae and birds from our own planet, one can assume they have hollow bones similar to some species from Earth. At the tip of their wings they possess rudimentary digits which allow them to handle things with a level of dexterity similar to humans. The Avali are omnivorous. However, they have razor-sharp teeth capable of ripping through meat and causing damage. These teeth are capable of regenerating. Physically, females and males are similar, both having similar cloacal vents along with lacking what we would call a standard mammal genitalia, which results in a reproduction method similar to those seen in birds, in which the male rubs against the female until the sperm is deposited in the female and the egg can be fertilized. This results in an oviparous egg-laying process. At the end, the female lays a single large egg with a soft leathery shell. The amount of nutrients required for pregnancies makes more than a single egg not viable for the health of the female. The large size of the egg also makes hard shells unviable. Culture. Due to the harsh nature of the planet, their culture adapted into a more nomadic lifestyle in which tribes travel along the world. The tribes are composed of multiple specialized members which each excel at a specific role. While this will make it seem like technological development would be impossible, eventually certain tribes settle down and form large colonies. These colonies still held the nomadic beliefs. Their two pairs of ears allowed the Avali to communicate each other while moving, as they could talk parallel with each other. Eventually, when they reached their space age, their nomadic nature flourished once again. They still settle down in planets, but several tribes reformed. Spaceborne and multiple adaptable tribes formed around many planets across the galaxy. There are not a lot of archaeological finds of old Avali culture, as their nomadic nature made structures practically non-existent. As nomads to the core, they kept their more modern tools and technologies portable and easy to discard if needed. Campfires turned into portable stoves. To keep structures functional, they turned into carbon nanofiber weave, resistant to most firearms. Their carnivore animals turned into vehicles and drones. Their tools turned from a dead weight into 3D printable machinery that saves both weight and space. Their only real personal belongings as a tribe are their gear and clothing, as no one piece can be used by another Avali. Along these, their technological advancements meant that every one of these is tailor-made and aligned to the specific measurements of each individual. All of these armor and similar things are made of the highest quality materials. Tundra areas alongside those with water geysers are relatively warm for the Avali. What might be seen as a cold wasteland to a human might be seen as a deadly lava-filled desert to the Avali. The high temperature of water compared to the ammonia which the Avali drinks makes it seem as lava. The Avali tend to avoid this at all costs. The Avali are a highly artistic species, as they are not generally able to keep many things due to their nomadic nature. As such, they tend to value performance and musical arts more than visual. Their visual arts tend to stay as their tents, clothing, and plumage style. Their religion states that living and inanimate beings all have a unified spirit, that all of them share the same essence, and when an animal or a person dies, they become a part of this greater essence. Everyone represents part of a goal or essence. Packs and colonies tend to share a unified goal. In tradition, the individual names tend to come from an old pack member that had previously died. While their religion beliefs are dying out, these references to their religion still come through in art, text, and folklore. Many of the religious Avali consider other religious beliefs to be bizarre or at worst offensive, as they consider that individual souls, a single or multiple goals to be against nature and to be extremely individualistic. Technology. The Avali sit at the cusp of technological individuality. Their technology have a unique design language and structure compared to those of other races, with the biggest technological advancement being the Nexus, a form of internet which can be accessed through virtual reality, which instead of traditional human window design, features a more 3D landscape visual style. In the Nexus, the Avali can do anything that you would be able to do normally on the internet, alongside having their own space which they can personalize. However, since they can read books, listen to music and similar activities, to acknowledge anyone that may be near them that the Avali is unable to pay attention, the implants will project a holographic image of the item that the Avali might be using. To access this Nexus, all Avali are augmented with various degrees of cybernetics. At the most basic level, they have a neural interface which can link up to the Nexus, allowing them to see and interact with it at a basic level. Other augmentations include life support regulators that help stabilize their blood pressure, along with nanomachines which help combat various viruses and bacteria. The most expensive augmentations include cybernetic enhancements and limb replacement, some of the Avali going as far as to replace every single body part with mechanical parts, being little more than a brain in a suit. This significantly improves survivability along with strength and combat capabilities. While some Avali don't want to replace their body parts, some tend to go for that survival gear, suits that help them maintain their body temperature in the sweet spot at which they are able to live. This is typically achieved with coolants under their bodies, which help them survive in warmer temperatures on planets like Earth. The Avali long-range weapons consist of railguns. Replacing bullets, they use flechettes which tend to penetrate armor easily, but they tend to over-penetrate soft targets, reducing potential damage in organic targets. The ranged weapons vary from pistol-sized weaponry up to spinal-mounted railguns that are capable of accelerating up to the point where they cause explosions comparable to small thermonuclear weapons. The Avali generally don't use melee weapons, as their small and fragile bodies make it hard to withstand most hits. However, their melee weapons are tools which would generally be used for normal day tasks. However, when they make melee weapons, they follow the philosophy of only having the most basic, using their 3D print technology to use an aerogel capable of solidifying into a hard, crystalline structure which can cut through most things with ease. The blade is fragile and can be easily replaceable by design, as when they hit someone the blade can break, leaving tiny shards inside the target. When the Avali needs a boost, they can install high-frequency oscillators to vibrate the entire blade fast enough to cut through almost anything, along with increasing the durability of the blade. However, if that was not enough, the insides of the blade are sharper and more durable than the blade, so if it breaks, it will not affect the ability of cutting things with it. When the blade needs to be discarded, the blade can be ejected or safely removed by hand, doubling as a long-range weapon. The Avali consider anything that is not piled by an organic a drone, which can vary from anything as simple as a cleaning drone similar to a Roomba, to a 30-meter-long dedicated space combat vessel. While a vast amount of these self-piloted drones have an AI of their own, some are remotely piloted by a specifically trained Avali or given orders via neural links connected with zinc crystals. In this regard, in an Avali city you would be able to see drones carrying out anything from a simple cleaning task to hauling and transporting any sort of goods to even combat roles on the front line. A zinc crystal is a special mineral exclusive to a classified planet which the Avali control. The samples from these crystals are linked together, meaning any signal going through these crystals will be identical in the other sample no matter the distance. One of these signals includes synaptic signals, which mean that these crystals can be used for zero latency neural links with the user and the drone, along with quantum communications. As for their spaceship, the Avali tend to favor a more mobile and maneuverable design philosophy, not favoring strong weaponry but rather the ability to not be hit from a distance. Their starships tend to stay at small sizes, the biggest designs being what would be considered a frigate, and as such, theoretically speaking, a dreadnought ship design would be effective against them, if it was heavily armored, as their ships don't tend to be the most effective at going through armor. Factions. The Avali aren't all part of a singular faction, as their nomadic nature stops them from forming a big unified racial faction. Instead, some would be willing to join other factions as explorers or even go alone. However, the biggest Avali forming faction is the Avali Illuminati. It encompasses half of the Avali population. It's the biggest and most powerful faction and cemented itself as what most people think about the Avali, as it has solid control over the homeworld. Reclusive and isolationist, they pride themselves in their customs and traditions. As a scientific meritocracy, the Avali Illuminati is a highly centralized government that provides a high degree of freedom for tribal self-governance. They manage their local issues in secrecy. As a political party, the Illuminati tends to reserve itself, only using political allies to keep peace amongst the faction and ensure things go just as planned by their central AI, the Oracle. The Oracle is an AI which helps the Illuminati grow and plan their moves as to further guarantee prosperity and the ability to survive. Well, that was it guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and found this very interesting, as I put a lot of stuff into the video. Now, if you enjoyed everything, I hope you guys will go to the wiki and maybe even play the Avali mods for Starbound, Stellaris and Rimworld and enjoy them as much as I have, as that is what inspired me to even make this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like button and subscribe, as it would really help my channel. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.